Hey, make sure you guys drop a like in the next 5 seconds for some good luck. I'd do it if I was you. All right, what is going happening? How's everybody doing today? My name is Chuck, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we're in here for another episode of my top 5 most overpowered guns for you guys to use here in Modern Warfare. I know you guys really like this series. You've also been seeing me just absolutely dominate on all of my videos here recently, so I want to show you guys the classes I'm going to be using here to dominate every single game. Before we get into that, though, if you guys have not already, make sure you guys slap a like on this video, subscribe with those notifications turned on so you do not miss out whenever I post something brand new, which is like every single day. And also make sure you guys comment down in the comment section below, what is your favorite gun to use here in Modern Warfare? All right, so I think it's only proper for me to start off a top 5 most overpowered by using the M4A1 or giving you guys a good M4A1 class setup. I've been really messing with this here recently, and I've been dropping some nukes with it, so I think it's definitely super awesome. So let's actually jump into this. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go down in here to the muzzle. We're gonna throw on the monolithic suppressor for that sound suppression, that damage range. It's gonna be fantastic. This is gonna be a really good attachment for you guys, and the mono is definitely the best suppressor in the entire game, so I would go ahead and use this if I was you guys. Next up in here, we have the barrel section, so we should actually be able to take a look at here. There's only basically 2 viable options in here. That's the stock M16 Grenadier barrel and the Corvus Custom Marksman barrel. And recently, I've been really actually liking the stock M16 barrel, but I've also been swapping in and out for the Corvus Custom Marksman. And so that's why here within today's video, I'm going to tell you guys to use the Corvus Custom Marksman, because I feel like it definitely does help you have a little bit more mobility while still getting all the benefits, that damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. I really like it, so I tend to swap back and forth between the 2 barrels there. But I mean, the Corvus for me just recently has been kind of hitting a little different. For the underbarrel section, I mean, we're just going to keep it very simple here. We're using the Commando foregrip, recoil stabilization, aiming stability, 2 things you really like. And of course, this is not going to slow down your movement speed all that much like if you're to use the Ranger or the Merc foregrip. You just really don't have to do too much with this gun. You don't really got to go extra on it. I mean, you just got to use a Commando foregrip, and that's about it. For the ammunition side of things here, we have a few different options. We have, a good amount of options: the 50 round, the 60 round, the Power 9mm 32 round magazine, and the 458 SOCOM 10 round magazine. These last 2 options in here, I would still say, even though I made a video on the 32 round magazine here, this is basically still not really that viable. I would just basically stay away from these bottom 2, and I'm just going to tell you guys to use the 60 round magazine here. I like the 60 round, doesn't matter if it's public matches or if it's Warzone. I'm always just going to be rocking the 60 just because I really like that. So if I was you guys, I'd rock this 60 round magazine. And last but definitely not least, to help us with our mobility here a little bit, we're actually going to go into the rear grip section, and we're going to go down to the very bottom here and use the stipple grip tape for that aim down sight speed and that sprint to fire speed. So this is going to be really useful for you guys, just to kind of keep you a little bit more mobile, because we do have the Corvus barrel on there, which is going to of course weigh us down here a little bit. And of course, we have a Commando foregrip, so we need to kind of balance out those, those negatives, those cons, with a little bit of positives here, or the pros. So we're going to use the simple grip tape here, and this is going to be my #1 M4A1 class that for you guys to use. This thing is amazing. I use this with a specialist setup, or if I use this with just regular assault streaks, either or, this thing is amazing. Okay, so now we're jumping into the MP7, and this is the Trigger variant here. This is like kind of an all gold variant for it, but let's actually jump into this. I really like the MP7 here. It's a super solid SMG. So we're gonna jump into the muzzle category, and first things first, obviously we're throwing on the mono suppressor. We're basically gonna do that here for all of our guns, so we really won't spend too much time on it. But sound suppression and damage range, this is basically what it does. This is the top suppressor to use, no matter if it's an AR, if it's an SMG, it's an LMG, a marksman rifle, it don't matter. The mono is going to be the best suppressor to use entirely. Now in the barrel section here, we have a few different options. We have the strike barrel, the recon barrel, and the SWAT barrel. We're basically going to stay away from the SWAT barrel, and of course then we have the strike barrel, which does give us damage range, bullet velocity, but it doesn't necessarily help us out with the recoil control, and we definitely are going to need that for this build in specific here. So we're going to go ahead and use the FSS recon barrel. This is going to be the best one in my opinion to use. I really like using this barrel. I've been basically rocking this ever since. I've definitely gone ahead and tried the strike barrel, but I do find a lot better success with the recon barrel. So if I was you guys, use the recon barrel. You'll thank me later. Next up in here in the underbarrel section, we have a few different options that are definitely viable. The first one being the Commando foregrip, and the second one being the Merc foregrip. And for this build in specific, we're going to be using the Merc foregrip just because we're going to make this thing, super mobile and super good up close. So if I was you guys, you just need to run the Merc foregrip on this. I mean, the Commando, you could definitely try it out with this build I'm going to give you guys, but the Merc foregrip is 100% going to be the best option to use with this build in particular. Now on the ammunition side of things, we have have the 50 and the 60 round magazine. You guys know I'm a 60 round magazine kind of guy. I don't want to have to reload, you know, as often. I like to be able to engage a lot of enemies at once. So 60 rounds is going to be, you know, the move for me. I don't know about you guys, but 60 is what I'm going for. And last but definitely not least, we're here in the stock section, and we're going to go straight down to the very bottom here and throw on the no stock attachment for that movement speed and that ADS speed. And that's why I said we need the Merc foregrip on this thing, because the recoil is going to jump up here a little bit. So we have the barrel in the Merc foregrip to kind of counteract that. But if you did not have the Merc foregrip, or you did not have that barrel and you tried throwing on the no stock attachment, it's just going to make your gun very, very bouncy, and it's not going to be all that great. So you need to run the no stock. You know, if you're going to, I mean, you should run the no stock, but you should also run the Merc foregrip and the recon barrel in combination with this. So I mean, this is a killer setup here for you guys. You definitely need to try it out. The MP7 is a laser beam, and this has got some great mobility, and it's a really fun gun to use. I'm not sure if I put the FAL here in a top 5, but I mean, the FAL is really genuinely a good gun. And if you have a trigger finger and you can hit your shots with it, I mean, this thing is incredibly lethal. It's very annoying to play against, so I mean, I'm just gonna put that out there. Anyways, first thing is first here, of course, mono suppressor, sound suppression, damage range. We're just gonna not really spend too much time on this, because you guys know what I'm talking about already. This is, you know, the third time I've explained it here so far, and if you watch another top 5 video, I always explain it anyways. So the mono suppressor is there. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the barrel section here. We have a few different options. We have the 18.0 ultralight, the XRK marksman barrel on the 13 OSW para. Basically, we don't want to do the para barrel, and we also don't really want to do the ultralight. Basically, both of those just kind of help with your ADS speed. We're trying to get, you know, the trifecta there, that damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. It's going to make this gun significantly more effective, in my opinion. So if I was you guys, you need to use the XRK marksman barrel. This thing is really good. Now for the underbarrel section here, there's a couple of different options that I find are actually viable. The Commando foregrip and then the Merc foregrip. I really don't ever go anything else past the Commando or the Merc, but for this build in particular, we're actually going to be using the Merc foregrip, because we're going to make this thing pretty mobile, and we're going to give you guys, you know, just a little bit more than what you would with a standard FAL build. This is going to be really good for rushing around, so that's why we're going to need the Merc foregrip for this. And also because this is a single shot weapon, if you can kind of condense your hip fire accuracy a little bit for when you get into those weird close quarter situations, you're gonna come out on top a lot more times than not. For the ammunition thing here, I mean, we're just going straight for the 30 round magazine. I mean, there's no point to not run the 30 round. I mean, nobody wants to run a 24. It's really not gonna make that big of a difference here on like your ADS speed and your movement speed, just because, I mean, we're just gonna balance all that out really anyways here. So just go ahead and run the 30 round magazine. Don't think too much about it. It's nothing crazy. And last but definitely not least, in the stock category, where this similar to the MP7 build, we're gonna throw in the no stock attachment here for that movement speed and that aim down sight speed. This FAL build that I'm actually giving you guys right here is an absolute tank, like a straight up unit. I really like using the FAL like this, and I'm definitely probably gonna make a dedicated video on this here in the near future, because this gun's really good. All right, if you guys have been watching the channel, you guys know I'm a huge fan of the PP19 Bizon. This thing is incredible. So obviously, first thing is first, suppressor, adding on the mono. Don't want to spend too much time on it. The next thing we're going right in here to do is go to the barrel section, and we're just going to use the 8.7 steel barrel, because this is like one of the earliest level unlocks you get, and it also happens to be the best barrel to use for that damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. This thing is incredible. I really like the 8.7 steel barrel. For the ammunition, I mean, this is really just kind of overkill to be able to throw on the 84 round helical mag, but for me, I mean, dude, it's just kind of fun to run around with an 84 round magazine and an SMG. It's kind of like a pocket LMG, if you want to call it that. It's just actually really good, and I like it. So I just kind of been rocking with it here, and this setup that I'm gonna give you guys is just been doing a lot of work for me. So, you know, stick through this one. Now in the rear grip section, we have a few different options, but we're going straight for the stipple grip tape here for the ADS speed, sprint and fire speed. We're trying to make this as mobile as possible. The PP19 Bizon definitely thrives in that closer to medium range combat, and you're just going to be able to take a lot of people out, especially with an 84 round magazine and high mobility. I mean, you're just going to be taking a lot more people down than somebody that's only maybe got like an MP5 with 30 or 45 rounds, or maybe a P90 with like 50 or something. I mean, this is by far the, you know, the biggest magazine count SMG in the entire game. And I don't know what it is. We kind of have a reoccurring theme here. I'm just kind of starting to notice this, but we're using the no stock attachment here once again. Movement speed, ADS speed. This thing actually has a tad bit of recoil. It kind of jumps up here a little bit, so if you can't really handle it, run something like the Corvus custom skeleton stock or something like that, and that's going to give you a lot of benefits as well. But otherwise, I'd rock the no stock attachment. For me, I've been rocking no stock, and I actually really like the way it looks in game, and also the way it performs. It's just actually been really good for me. So this is my PP19 Bizon class. Really a huge fan of this thing. I made a dedicated video on this here, I believe yesterday at the time of making this video. So this is a really solid class. All right, so now we have our Kilo 141 here as our final gun in the top 5. So this is the brass tax one. This is a very early variant. It's kind of like the Gucci variant in my opinion, because it's got a little Gucci snake and stuff on it. So that's kind of like one of the only reasons I actually happened to buy it way back in the day. This is probably like pre-season 1 or like season 1, like actual season 1 Modern Warfare, not like what we're in right now, like season 7. So of course here, first thing is first, mono suppressor. You guys know the drill already, so we're throwing that bad boy on there. Next up, we're going into the barrel section here. So we have the Singard Arms 16.6 SOCOM, the 19.8 Prowler, and the Singard Arms Whisper. Of course, we can't use the Whisper barrel because, I mean, this is essentially like an integrated suppressor. We already have a suppressor on there, so we're definitely not going to do that. We're just going to go straight for the 19.8 Prowler here for maximum damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. This is going to make this gun much more of a laser beam than if you were to use something like, you know, the Whisper barrel. This thing is really good, and I like this a lot. I use this in multiplayer and in Warzone, and it slaps in both. For the underbarrel section, we really don't have to get too crazy with this. This is kind of like another case of the M4, where you can just rock the Commando foregrip for that recoil stabilization, aiming stability. You really, honestly, you just don't got to get crazy with it. I mean, this gun doesn't have that much recoil to begin with, so we just have to balance it out here ever so slightly, and the Commando foregrip does a wonderful job doing that. For the ammunition, we have a few different options in here: the 50, the 60, and the 100 round drum mag. As cool as it is to have a 100 round drum mag on an AR, I just don't really like it. It's just not my thing. Maybe way back in the day before they nerfed the no stock and it was like very, very overpowered, then I was, you know, 100% of the time I'm rocking a 100 round drum mag here. But because they nerfed the no stock and made it less viable to use, it's just not as good to run the 100 round drum mag. And that's why I always stick with the 60 round magazine on this thing. It's still really, really good, but I would just not recommend running the 100 round drum mag. That kind of slows you down a little bit too much in my opinion. So go ahead and run the 60, you'll be fine. And once again, playing into our theme here of the no stock, we're adding the no stock on here. I've been on kind of a bit of like a no stock movement here recently. I've just been throwing it on all my guns, kind of really trying to diversify my setups up here because we're in Modern Warfare Year 2. And I don't always want to use the same things on my guns. So I've been using the no stock on this, and this setup in particular here, because we have that barrel and the Commando foregrip, it really just doesn't move all that much, and you can still get a lot of benefit of movement speed and all that with the no stock. So this is an incredible build. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. That's all I got for you guys here within today's video. Thank you so much for coming through. If you guys enjoyed it, slap a like on it, subscribe, those notifications turn on. Make sure you guys comment down in the comment section below. And with that being said, I'll see you guys back here again tomorrow with a brand new video. Just remember, triple cap, don't be Randy, and I'm out. Peace.